There are some categories of food we all know. Like if I say the word salad, no matter where you are, there's probably something that immediately comes to mind. Some combination of vegetables, fruits, or meats that's so essential you don't even give it a second thought. But what if we've all been doing salads wrong all along? Inside Bangkok's migrant worker enclaves, there's something hiding in plain sight that might change how you look at food forever. This is Athoke, the fascinating and revolutionary world of Burmese salads. Here, nothing's off limits. Anything goes, and the only rule is the more fun, the better. From rare ingredients to epic techniques to the planet's best drinking foods. This is the story of the salads of Myanmar. Today on OTR. A long time ago, back when I was just starting out in the kitchen, I used to invite friends to come over to my old Charlottesville apartment and have a competition. The rules of the game were based on a TV show called Iron Chef, and basically how it worked, at least for us, was my roommate would run to the grocery store, pick out one random ingredient, and then it was on us to turn it into a 3-course dinner. Now, no one ever actually won these contests because honestly, by the time it was over, we would all be too sideways. But winning wasn't the point. It was all about what Iron Chef was and what it represented as a cook. Are you good enough to take anything and figure out how to prepare it, season it, and make it shine, to coax out the maximum flavor and give one item its proper showcase? Now, this was a lot of fun, but it was just a TV show. I mean, that's not how you cook in real life. Or at least that's what I thought until stumbling into a neighborhood like this one. Athoke, or Burmese salads, are not your grandma's bland, tasteless side dish, but a wild category where each and every version, and there are literally thousands, is all about showcasing one single ingredient. And it's even more fun than you might imagine. Anything can be a salad. Fruits or vegetables, but also sauces, leftover curries, and even entire snacks like samosas. If it's in the fridge or the pantry, well, good enough. Toss in some seasoning, add a few layers of texture, and keep on going until even the most unappealing item becomes a rock star. It's a concept that's deceptively simple, but it is revolutionary. Everywhere else, you order a salad when you want a salad. But in Myanmar, you order one when you want anything because that's what it is. Anything, just optimized. Basically, each version of Athoke is an Iron Chef challenge. The idea of doing whatever it takes to make one single ingredient taste as good as possible. The end result is something so incredible that Myanmar should be to salads what Italy is for pasta, or India for curries. The absolute pinnacle and the worldwide standard, but unfortunately, thanks to a 65-year civil war, the art is pretty much confined to neighborhoods like this. So it's on us to try to tell the story. Okay, so we're doing something a little bit different today. We've been going really deep into history and stuff like that. Today we are going to just eat because I have wanted for a long time on the channel to show you something that I think is a really well-kept secret. All of Burmese food is a well-kept secret, but the idea of salads, you know, when you think of salads, you think of something Western, you think of, you know, the classic Caesar and things like that, right? But the truth is, you know, just coming to this one restaurant, there's about 30 salads on the menu, right? At just this one place. There's going to be more and more and more as we go through the day-to-day to these other restaurants that come from Myanmar. The category of salad, what they call Thoke, which I just Googled, translates directly to mixed, right? But it's a salad. That category here, we're in Thailand because unfortunately the situation in Myanmar, we can't go there to film yet, but in Thailand, in all the Burmese neighborhoods, category of salads is broad, it's diverse, it's exciting.
What do we have?
What do we, okay. Classic Burmese tea leaf salad, lapatok. We have pennywort salad, which is quite common and famous in Myanmar. We have a salad made with tamarind leaves. Nanjitok, so thick noodles in a chicken curry. We have a rice noodle salad, which is a salad. It's a salad, you know, by definition. If a Olivier salad in Russia, which is chopped meat, mayonnaise,
and that's it?
Cooked vegetables.
Oh, there are green peas in there. So does it count?
There's cilantro on top of this.
Green?
And then we have the crispy chickpea fritter salad. All of these count as salads. There's 100 more that we have not gotten to yet. But again, I just wanted to kind of explore this today because it's a really fun thing to dive into. We've never done it on the channel before. And yeah, philosophical question before we eat. What makes a salad a salad?
Salad dressing, something green, and a bowl. And it should be
All right, now, since we all know that salads are health food, we might as well go crazy. 6 versions on the table for breakfast, 23 over the next few hours, but let's start with these. The Thoke, or fermented tea leaf salad, is the main hero, arguably Myanmar's national dish, and a perfect way to illustrate the art form of how these actually work. The tea leaves by themselves are salty and just a little bit bitter. So to bring it into balance, add a big hit of umami from tomatoes, dried shrimp, and ngapi, or fish sauce. Then brighten it up with some acidity like fresh lime. Round out the flavor by adding a little bit of chili and some crispy fried garlic, and then for texture, toss in peanuts, cabbage, and fried split peas. Coat with a touch of peanut oil, and there you go. It is still all about the tea leaves, but now they are perfect. You can repeat that general philosophy to explain all the other dishes in the category, like tart and sour tamarind leaves offset by toasted chickpea flour, sesame seeds, and garlic oil. Leftover chicken curry combined with thick rice noodles, coriander, onion, and crispy chickpea fritters, dressed with tamarind, fish sauce, and chili to add a pop of flavor without making the whole thing go soggy. That's basically how it works. You could do the same thing with anything in the kitchen.
This is so good. I don't know what I tried. Mix of everything, but it was really good.
All right, guys. First location. We have several more to go. Come join us and eat. I have a theory about the origin of Athoke. It's not based on anything since research into Burmese cuisine is pretty much impossible. 500 years of nonstop war has not been good for record keeping. But let's go back to that map. Myanmar is surrounded by some of the world's most famous culinary countries: China, India, and Thailand. Now, we can say with strong confidence that there is no connection when it comes to salads. They could not be any more different in taste or general concept. But there is one possible route of influence, and that's way up in the far north, all the way in the Himalayas of Kachin State. See, in the Himalayas, there's a strikingly similar concept, something in Nepal known as sadeko, tangtse in Tibet, and hoge in Bhutan. Just like Burmese Athoke, those involve choosing one ingredient and layering flavors and textures to make it all shine. It might be a coincidence, again, we have no way to check, but it is worth noting that the Burmese people came from the Tibetan plateau. The Kachin, Karen, and majority Bamar all splitting off from the highland tribes and moving south over the last 2,000 years. In fact, so connected are the two regions that the people of Myanmar and the Himalayas share a unique language family, what's known as Tibeto-Burman. So if there is a connection, why are the salads in those highland countries seen as no more than humble sides? And in Myanmar, Athoke is the entire backbone of cuisine. Well, that part is actually easy. Again, look at the map. Myanmar is enormous. It crosses 19 degrees of latitude. That's bigger north to south than all of Scandinavia and almost the same as Canada. So while in the Himalayas ingredients are limited, in Myanmar you have literally everything. I mean, there's pretty much every single climate. So it does stand to reason that if a people arrived with a tradition of making salads out of anything on hand, well, in a land of abundance, that tradition would grow into something incredibly exciting. Anyway, we've arrived at our second meal. All right. Adrian, thank you
Hi.
so much for
Hi, Dean.
letting us come in here and film.
It's a pleasure.
Let's talk about everything, but let's start with the food that's on the table. So we
Yes,
have four
all right.
things that we ordered. What are we looking at?
We have like here like 4 different types of food, especially from the sleds. So as you all know, like Burma, when we opened the Burmese restaurant in the Bangkok, which is like war city, I would say, so many different types of tourists and traveler and businessmen are working here. So when we opened the Burmese restaurant, so we want to show the real Burmese cuisine. As we know, in Burma, we are like many different types of ethnic city. So we are also eating like ethnic city, very diverse culinary. So we also present, each one have like their present or like ethnic city here. Right?
So let's go one by one. So tell me what these are.
Okay. Like I will start from here,
Yes,
which
sir.
is one of our, like I would say, national or very signature Burmese dish, which is tea leaf salad, fermented tea leaf salad. This is another way of tea leaves that we are eating. So we in Burma, like I would say, like in Myanmar, I think people say like only country who eat the tea leaf salad. So it's another way of eating tea leaf salad. We eat like as a salad. So we used to standardly we eat like salad with cabbage, a lot of vegetables, and this is another way or different. It's a very unique one.
And on your menu, you call it what? Grandfather's?
So
salad or something?
Apoji, which is the grandfather uncle something. So he is eating like the chili, like he want to get the real taste of chili, not mixing with lots of vegetable or next. So here we see. So we put like separately all the each individual. So first thing he take it like tea and then he pair with like what he like the vegetables like that's a one by one. Really eating like the chilies like he.
So your recommendation is not to mix it all together, but to take a little bit and combine as
Yeah,
we, as we want to. That's awesome.
Yeah, combining in your mouth is another way of eating. Like that's the main way.
Before we get to the next one, I want to talk about something you and I were just discussing off camera. You mentioned this very briefly just a second ago, but you know, I was a Chinese chef, and we're living in Thailand now, and we always say there's no such thing as Chinese food, there's no such thing as Thai food. There's so many different regions, right? Burmese food is the same, where in Myanmar, it would probably be very uncommon to see all of these on the same menu.
It is.
But it's great for us because we get to see a big range of it.
It is.
Shan State food is quite different, ethnically, culturally, culinarily. So what is this specifically?
This is the way you call it tofu salad, but when we say like people say tofu, we see the white color being tofu, but this is I would say chickpea pounded tofu. So I think it's originally from the Shan State. We usually mainly put Shan I think eating the tofu in this way. So we make it like tofu, and it's kind of very, some people say like similar to the cheese, but it's not. It's very vegan wise. It's even the color is it.
And anybody who's ever seen our videos on Burmese food before knows my obsession with the chickpea tofu with the soft version of it. Same basic idea, but this is more firm.
We make it frozen and diced and salad it.
And you see something similar to this in Yunnan province in China, which is quite an interesting. But this is a very Burmese presentation.
All right.
This looks like somtam, but it's not.
It's not.
Tell me what this is.
It's like another like ethnic city way of eating papaya salad, which is representing to Rakhine. So it's very unique one. We also have like crunchiness of papaya. This is we would say like the main point of this salad is we roasted the fish base, the fish base, and then the dry shrimp, green chili, garlic. We roasted it, and then we pound it to getting the puree, and then this is a main sauce, and then we mix it with this one.
When I think about Shan State, we're in the mountains. Rakhine, we are on the coast.
Seaside.
So, yeah, exactly.
It's a very diverse.
And this one
is one of our I would say comfort food with vegetable. This is a very healthy one. Yeah, I would say this is like grilled eggplants that we usually actually grill with charcoal.
Okay.
And then you have like charcoal aromatics, and then it's a very I would say creamy, and then it can be like if you don't like to eat a lot, but you want to get the food, so you can take it this.
I'm gonna take. I got a hair in here. We have a white. It's my fault. We have a white dog who is shedding right now, and everything that we own is covered in white fur.
I can see that.
I can see that. Yeah. I tried my best to take it off everywhere, but Blanca is exploding right now in the hot season. I want to talk to you very quickly before we let you go. Two last things that I want to ask you about.
Yeah.
When we started this video, the whole idea is when you talk about salad, right? And what is a salad? I mean, a salad can be a lot of different things. Different countries have different definitions of salad, but I think foreigners tend to think of the West.
Yeah.
You know, a caprese salad, a Caesar salad, or a romaine lettuce salad. But to me, if you give me one country to go to for the rest of my life to just eat salads, I'm choosing Myanmar.
Oh, really?
Because the diversity is such a
big
category.
Diversity.
Can you talk to me about the importance of, first of all, what does Thoke mean? And second of all, because we don't call it salads, we call it Thoke in Burmese.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? And second of all, can you just talk about how important it is in Myanmar culture, wherever you are?
I think like Thoke is basically mixing. Yeah, so we put everything what we want to eat, like tofu or vegetables or like meat or so everything. So we make it mixing mean is like Thoke. So even like it's already cooked, but we can make with another noodle. Like still we are calling Thoke. Yep. That's a main point of like salad and Thoke different.
and that's something that I think is really essential in Burmese. If you want to understand Burmese cuisine, you have to kind of get deep into salads. Is that fair?
Yeah, very not.
You know, this is the first time you're watching an OTR video on Burmese food. I would say just go through our back catalog define me talking about how much I love fermented tea leaves.
We need to make a
That
compilation.
was, oh my gosh, like we did the whole, remember the video we did on the history of tea where we had that one segment just on this as a food. I don't understand how I never knew about this before we started exploring Burmese food. It is such a great ingredient. It's, you know, savory, salty. You get that kind of herbal flavor from tea. It's so good. And which one did you try? Eggplant?
Both are really good. This one is so
Shan tofu.
interesting. What's this taste? It's so interesting.
Sesame oil, maybe?
Is it?
And roasted garlic? Yeah. Oh. And a little hit of
What is it?
lemongrass, maybe at
Is
the
it
end?
lemongrass?
I think so. God, you almost took my eye out with that spoon.
Lemongrass.
You know, I was having an argument on stage at an event a couple weeks ago with Gary Butler about Thai food versus Burmese food. There is no, like, you can't argue about that kind of thing. It's a big topic and everybody has their own preferences. And we love Thai food, obviously. But I find that in our everyday life, when we're out and about and we just want to stop for a quick lunch, we tend to gravitate, at least in Bangkok, to Burmese. It's less sweet, it's refreshing, you know. And again, you can't get full from salads. You can have 100 of them. It's still a salad, right?
I'm very full.
Choosing a salad to eat in Myanmar isn't just about choosing a favorite flavor. With so many options over the last few centuries, the category has evolved to fill a lot of different roles. There are salads meant as street foods, especially noodle salads like nanji toke. There are salads for lunch like kamin toke or rice salad, and the countless variations within that range. There are drinking salads meant to pair with beer, hearty salads eaten for dinner, and in the old days, lepet toke. The iconic tea leaf salad, well, that was shared between rival factions to symbolize the end of a battle. It's a shame that went out of style. In every Burmese restaurant, there are versions of athoke that appeal to different customers and are consumed for different reasons. So for our next lunch, we've turned things over to the boss to try to make us a meal that will help us through a long day of filming. All right, Lynn, thank you so much for your time.
Yes.
This restaurant's been highly recommended to me by friends for a long time, but it's a little far from home, so we haven't been here. I'm excited to finally come. You know, even if we're just trying salads. It was funny. Carol has never really explored Burmese food before,
Yes.
and I felt bad in the beginning because it was like, well, we're only doing salads today. But then you realize you can kind of taste all of the flavors of Myanmar just in salads. Is that fair?
Yes, yeah.
So first of all, Lynn, you were telling me some things about kind of how some of this is, you know, we were talking about different regional foods, but this isn't about regional. This is young people, old people.
Yeah.
Tell me what we have on the table.
Yes, in table, this, you know what, this is pennywoods and green tea leaf salad. It's like a teenager, woman, everyone like it.
Those are national foods.
There's a national signature. It's a Burmese image. These two is like, it's popular in old omens and young guys are also like. So these two, this call is a black bean salad, and this one is ginger salad. So these two salads are mostly like old guys are really like, because these two salads are good for health. But because this one is a little bit bitter, this one is a little bit salty. Yeah.
But they're both ones that people eat because of health. It's like you want to,
yeah,
really?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But old guys eat like, and these salads with the tea, with teas, and they talk.
Drink the tea and
they
eat these.
communicate. These two they eat and drink some teas and they communicate. Old guys are really like it. So.
And what about this one?
This one is a fish cake salad. It's really most popular at our shop, and there's a lot of teenagers that really like it because we have two options, like a Burmese salad and Rakhine salad. Young guys are like spicy in these days, so they order a Rakhine salad, but this one is like a Burmese salad style. Yeah.
So, one thing I want to ask you, because this is our third restaurant we've shot at today. We've got a couple more still coming this evening, 2-3 more at least. And we try and get different things everywhere. I know you told us we had to get the pennywort, so we're doing that again here. But le Athoke, the tea leaf salad, we've had that at all three places. We're probably going to have it everywhere we go tonight, or some variation of it.
Yeah.
Because to me, if you want to understand Burmese food, you have to try mohinga, and you have to try le Athoke.
Le Athoke.
So when we're talking about this salad, what is it that makes this so special?
I mean, this main thing is like tea leaf. Tea leaf is the main ingredient for this salad, because in Myanmar we have different tea leaves. It's Upper Myanmar, they produce tea leaves, and also we have Inner Myanmar is also produce tea leaves. But all of the Burmese people, Myanmar people, are really like this one salad because it's like crunchy and this is salty, because Burmese people also like not sweet things, so they like sweet and sour and spicy taste, so they really like this one. And all of the Burmese people, I think this one is that's why this is a signature one, I think.
And I think that every single thing on the table, there's going to be some kind of crunch to it. I think texture is so important.
Yes.
And this is something where you have all these different textures. You have kind of that soft but tough shrimp, the dried shrimp.
Yeah.
You have the peanuts. You have the yellow peas,
the cabbage,
the dried chickpeas, and then you have the kind of crispy cabbage, the soft tomato, the really soft tea leaves.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm leaving anything out, but it's so much texture in this.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why if you eat it, it's a combination. All of it. This is really best.
Okay, actually this is perfect. So the salads that are intended for young people are in front of you, and the
For
salads
young
for the older people are in front of me. The ones that he said for the elderly who want to improve their health, they will eat the ginger salad and the bean salad. So this works out perfectly.
What's in the young? Is there vodka?
It's this is the pennywort salad, which was your favorite from earlier. Le Athoke, the fish cake salad, which is supposedly a little bit spicy, and the beans, which these are two that we have not yet had today. But for the old people like me. I thought it was so funny last week in our video, the last one we did on the Chinese culture in Malaysia. Chin, in that last restaurant, was just named Best Young Chef in Malaysia. He's my age.
Oh,
so
really?
Isn't that fun that he's my age and he's the best young chef? I'm gonna steal one of these spoons, I
Young,
guess.
probably because he's in the industry for like a year, not young like age.
He's been in the industry for like 25 years. He's just had this restaurant for 1 year.
A very young, aspirational man.
I think I like ginger more than you do. So this is gonna be more me. I love the ginger salad. Every time I've had this in Burmese food, it's so, there's a lot of use of chickpeas, gram flour, these sort of really earthy, bean-forward ingredients in Burmese food. And you combine that as a sauce with ginger, and you lose the punch in a really interesting way. This is not gingery, but it's ginger.
Good for old people.
Good for old people.
Good for healthy.
Wow, that is so much better than I expected it to be. This looks so plain. Wow.
What's in there?
People always try to be nice to us by offering us bonus food. You want to be nice to us? Give us less food, small portions. That is the way that you can show your love to us on a filming day. This is Burmese hospitality. It's always, people are so unbelievably kind and welcoming. Give me less food. That will be the happiest I can be. Let's try the fish cakes.
It's not gonna happen.
I'm so full. 2-hour nap ahead of us and then on to the next place. A month before this taping, there was a presidential election in Myanmar, the first since all the way back in 2018. But sadly and predictably, this was a sham, the winner in a landslide, the same dictator who 5 years ago seized power in a military coup. And in this, quote, election, defeating 2 runners-up who are also part of the same fascist administration. The current situation in Myanmar is horrific. But the truth is this was maybe not inevitable, but at least close to it ever since the first days of independence. Now, this is not a video about politics. It's a story about food. But since we can't explain the diversity of the cuisine without acknowledging the diversity of the people, well, that means we have to talk about the elephant in the room, the obvious reason why Burmese salads have stayed so anonymous. So if you'll allow me one quick digression, let's pick up the story where we left off, when all those tribes swept down from the Tibetan Plateau, bringing language and probably salads, then spreading out across the region and settling in the highlands, across the coast, and in the rice farming basin of the Irrawaddy River. Now, because of the vastness of the Burmese landscape, each group would develop in isolation, over time creating their own languages and cultures, becoming not so much a unified society, but dozens. Let's look one more time at that Southeast Asia map. If we go back 500 years or so, you can pretty much see the makings of every modern country. But look at Myanmar. You can probably see where this is going. According to the modern Burmese government, there are 135 ethnic groups that make up the country, categorized under 8 main banners: the Mon, Karen, Kachin, Shan, Kayad, Chin, Rakhine, and Bamar. And the history of Myanmar is really 8 different stories, collected over the centuries as power waxed and waned in different kingdoms and empires, the only constant war and division. The violence would stop in the years of British colonization, but not out of peaceful collaboration, more a British strategy of divide and rule. Each of the major ethnic groups was promised future autonomy, their own permanent homeland, in exchange for supporting the crown to tamp down any rebellion. But obviously those promises were broken. In 1948, the British left and Burma gained independence, and right away the various factions demanded their own land, their own right to self-governance. This almost happened. Burma by the mid-1950s was on the verge of splintering, but then came a wave of nationalism, and in 1962, a military coup led by General Ne Win. The provinces became war zones, occupied by army soldiers determined to hold the country together by force, and that's basically what's still happening now. Myanmar less one single state than dozens, everyone trying to figure out a way forward under heavy bombardment by their own central government, one trusted by no one and unelected, regardless of last month's performative nonsense. But somewhere underneath all the tension and mistrust, there is a shared history, a common origin and deep cultural ties from the northern mountains to the Andaman coast, something visible maybe most of all in the cuisine. Burmese food is a striking metaphor for the country itself, every single enclave with its own flavors and preferences, but still somehow the same, different shades of one color. And nowhere is that more apparent than in the category of Athoke, or salads. The idea of making a wide range of dishes showcasing individual local ingredients is part of every Burmese culture, a link that connects all the different factions in a visibly tangible way, even if those ingredients themselves, like the people, vary widely from place to place. And maybe if there's a ray of light in the darkness, it's that here, away from the junta that hangs on to power by exploiting division, well, there are restaurants popping up that are defiantly multi-ethnic, embracing the differences and showcasing connection through, of course, salad. Maybe an unlikely place to find hope, but hope nonetheless. In the very first video we ever made on the topic of Burmese food, we stopped by a restaurant called Kalyana, the first one ever in Thailand to try to appeal beyond the migrant worker community and connect with the wider public. The general idea of Kalyana is a showcase of the depth of Myanmar's cuisine, and to embrace the diversity as a point of pride instead of an excuse for war. And for us, well, there's no better place to find a wide range of salads that in Myanmar might not appear on the same menu, at least not yet. Okay, somehow the appetite is back. Every time we come to Kalyana, I'm ready to eat everything on the menu. We've talked about how salads, or Thoke, are so ubiquitous across Myanmar through different ethnic groups and cultures. Here, this restaurant, we've told you before on the channel, in another video, specializes in regional food and different ethnic food from across Myanmar, presented to the public here. So what do we have on the table? We have Daria, by the way, she's out for a jog, running off some of the food we had earlier. She's going to join us in a little bit. Thoke, what they call here the royal tea leaf salad. So this is a really elegant presentation of the national salad dish. This one is also up there with the tea leaf salad and the pennywort that you saw earlier as something that's pretty famous all across the country. It's a lemon salad using fresh lemon. And then we have three that represent different regions or ethnic groups. This is a fermented soybean salad from Shan State. This one I'm really excited about. One of my absolute favorite regional cuisines in Myanmar. This comes from Chin State in the far west. It's chicken with a bunch of pounded herbs. It's going to be really bright and herbal. And then this one is a Mon dish from the Mon people. It is dried stingray. So dried stingray with what looks like onion. This is one I've never had before. This is not a salad. This is a sausage, kaya sausage, which Dennis just had to throw into our order because that was something he really missed from his time filming in Myanmar when he was there quite extensively shooting on the front lines of the Civil War. And keep your eyes open. We'll post. Hopefully that documentary is going to be out this year. Fingers crossed. All right. Anyway, so and hopefully the Civil War is over this year. Fingers crossed. So anyway, this is what we have. Let's dive in, and I think I'm going to start with the only one that I've never tried before. Oh, wow. first bite, you get sourness, savory, onion. Then as the stingray dried opens up, it tastes like the ocean. It's like a bite of the ocean. Wow. It's like, tuan nao, the Thai soybean, the tuan nao, the dried fermented soybean, that's this. But like dressed with citrus, chili, onion. At the end of 2022, right around the time we launched this channel, I got a random invitation to live out my old house parties in real life and cook on Iron Chef, the actual television show. It was just as cool as you might think it would be, but there was one part of it that kind of wrecks comparison to stuff like this. See, the thing is, on the show and in a Burmese kitchen, the goal might be the same, to bring out the best of one single ingredient. But when a cuisine is judged, whether on a show like Iron Chef or by the Michelin Guide or, hell, any keyboard warrior on Yelp, well, that judgment has to come from something. A baseline expectation of what food is, what flavors are meant for pairing. Pretty much the idea that in cooking there is right and wrong. And when you have the shadow of Escoffier hanging over your head, well, what you lose is the fun. The full-on anything-goes madness that once upon a time all of us in the kitchen used to love, until it got trained out of us. The real joy in Burmese salads isn't the dishes themselves. It's not even the fresh approach to showcasing ingredients. It's the chaos, the freedom to layer in absolutely anything if it's going to taste good. Fry up some crispy whatever, then toss the cooking oil into the mix with some tamarind, fermented fish, and maybe yesterday's leftovers. It might not end up as something that's going to impress any French fine dining judges, but who cares? It's delicious. While we're on the topic, the whole world is full of other examples of stuff that, if it ever breaks through to the mainstream, might completely redefine what a category even means. Like, you can do a lot of stuff with dumplings. But I bet you didn't know that in one country, people can literally shove an entire dinner into a dumpling wrapper. That would be Uzbekistan, by the way. Or how about the simple paratha, an Indian flatbread? Served as a component in a lot of different dishes, but in Uganda, made into a sandwich with an omelet in the middle. Now, all of that is tangential. This isn't a video about Uzbek Hanum or Ugandan Rolex, but honestly, it's not really about salads either. It's about people, a fascinating country, and most of all, how incredible food can be when you throw out the rules and just have fun. There's one last salad we have to try before this shoot is over. I mean, actually 1,000 more to properly tell the story, but one that, more than anything else, at least to me, illustrates just how much fun a salad can be in the right hands. And that brings us to an alley called Phetchaburi Soy 15, featured once before in an old OTR video as quite possibly the world's first Burmese bar street, anywhere outside Myanmar proper. Here the vibe is not refugee or migrant worker, it's full-on celebration, exciting and vibrant and, dare I say, a melting pot. Maybe what Myanmar itself could look like in better days. If Burmese salads change the way we look at the category, well, one specific version kind of blows up something else we all thought we knew, which is the idea of drinking food. Because with all respect to other stuff, you can forget about buffalo wings or salted peanuts. Who knew the ultimate option could be something as, quote, boring as a salad? Okay, we have made it to the end of the line. I still believe that you can't get full from salads.
I'm not listening. I'm vibing to the Burmese creed now.
So we're finishing with drinking food. Like this is, salads or Thoke in Myanmar they serve a lot of functions, and one of them is maybe the world's greatest beer food, which is this pounded mutton with tea leaf, and I'm telling you, like this is the best. It's the best beer drinking food anywhere. This one is a cuisine version of pounded mutton, and this is samosa salad, which is just chopped samosas pounded with, I don't know,
It's not
very
even
little
pounded.
else.
I think it's just chopped and cold salad.
Which is still a salad because it's in a bowl. They called it a salad. If it was just put on a plate, it's a samosa. You cut it into pieces, you put it in a bowl, it's a salad, and it becomes healthy.
Because they also sprinkled a little bit of
There's some
mint
onion.
leaves.
Yeah, there's mint,
on
there's
top.
onion, there's
Vegetables.
I understand that we all in this industry are prone to hyperbole. The best, this is the best thing I've eaten today, therefore it's the best thing ever, right? And I know we all do that, and it's hard not to, but I'm telling you, on the air, off the air, in any situation, I have and will say that the first time I tried this was like earth-shattering. It's the greatest drinking food ever. And it's a salad, which means it's healthy. Never had this one before. The Kachin mutton salad. Also a salad. Try this. Wow.
I tried it. It's really good.
It's gonna sound really strange. It tastes like leather. Like
What?
leather. You never chewed on leather? Like, you never played baseball. You had a baseball mitt, like a leather glove, you're just chewing on it out of boredom when you're in the outfield waiting for a fly ball? Never?
No, I had a normal childhood. So I didn't chew on leather.
No, it's like, it's really smoky, meaty, smoky and meaty, with some chili, some herbs. It tastes like a baseball glove in the best possible way. That triggers a nice childhood memory. Nope.
Oh God, no.
Dennis, did you, I mean, you grew up in the US. Did you ever chew on a baseball mitt when you're, no?
I played baseball, but I didn't ever shoot it with it.
You know, it has the strings, the leather straps that come off, and
Yeah,
you're like,
Stop. No,
Because-
nobody did that, Adam.
somebody watching this did that. You can't say nobody did that. That's,
I had a normal childhood too.
Like, if you say, oh, it's like licking the table. It's so good. Every dinner.
these are all just distractions. All this stuff is meant to keep you guys away from my pounded mutton tea leaf salad, which is like life-changing. A lot of the food we've had today is incredible. The category of Burmese salads is something that you should explore. It's one of the most exciting categories of anything in this part of the world. But this pounded mutton tea leaf salad, in this environment at night, with a beer or a soda or, whatever your cold drink of choice is, yeah, good way to end it. I am going to unbutton my jeans.
And miss your baseball childhood on sucking on gloves?
Chewing.
That's it. OTR.
Yeah.
Subscribe for the channel.
Subscribe to the channel for more from OTR. Thank you so much to everyone who supports us on Patreon. It really helps to keep us going. Find links below to our Patreon and social media, and we'll see you soon. It's dried mutton, which is lamb, older lamb,
Like you.
pounded with like me. pounded with fermented tea leaves, like what we had in all the Lepetok. There's a little bit of sesame, there's citrus, there's garlic, but like it's really simple. It has that little bit of sourness, has a little bit of heat. The texture almost kind of, I don't know how to describe it. It's like, it's really dry, but it has that soft tea leaves to kind of bond it all together. So you get like, again, Burmese food is all about the textural contrast, and that saltiness of this is the biggest characteristic. And that with beer, like, yeah.
What did you say? Oik?
What?
Oik.
Oink? You put that together with beer and oink.